So apparently Gyökeres is going to say no to Forest, and is Cristiano Ronaldo out injured? Welcome to your latest Forest news. Good morning, good evening, or good night. Hope you guys are doing well, and welcome to your latest Forest news. As always, please don't forget to hit that like button. Let's get like, I don't know, 704 likes. Make sure you're subscribed if you are new. Please make sure you're on the update groups on WhatsApp. Scan this QR code, click on the link that's pinned in the comments for your quick breaking Forest news straight to your WhatsApp phone in the update section. So, like, have you ever looked in there before? Wasn't for until a week ago. I looked in mine. It's quite interesting. Okay, let's jump into this news. There's a lot to talk about. So there are reports coming out that Gyökeres is saying no to Forest. But there were reports to say that Gyökeres is already signed for Forest, that he's bought into the project, that everything is hunky-dory. This is what I keep telling you guys all this week. In international windows, just don't take everything with a pinch of salt. So let's grab our pinches of salt as I read you through what's been said here. So it says the Reds have enjoyed an impressive run under Nuno. We all know that. We got Brighton in the cup. We know that. Blah, blah, blah. They are in firm contention to qualify for the Champions League. Gyökeres, however, is unlikely to consider a move to Forest, even if they were to play in Europeans' elite club competition next season. Gyökeres only wants a big club and only will leave Sporting for a club that will offer him a bigger supporting project than Nottingham Forest. Therefore, would favour joining PSG, Arsenal, Chelsea, Barcelona, Juventus, or, here's the kicker, Manchester United. And is there anything that needs to be said apart from that? Well, let me give you my opinions on this. I think this is all BS. I don't know who this Navim Yuli person is. Don't really care about them. This is just an opinion piece. I've had this one sent to me loads. That's why I'm addressing it today. That's not even a quote from the player. And the fact that, let's just say it was a quote from the player, for him to put the likes of Arsenal, Chelsea, Barca, Juve, etc., I can understand that as a project piece. But to then add Manchester United, who in all probability, unless they scumbag the Europa League, won't even be in Europe next season. And with Gyökeres coming into the prime of his footballing age, that mid-20s, your next contract is your kind of key one. You know what I'm saying? This contract will take him into his 30s. You don't want to be at a project where you're not playing in your prime in the elite competitions. So I don't believe this article at all. In fact, it winds me up, these articles that come out, these column inches that need to be filled. Do I think Forest get Gyökeres? In all probability, no. But do I believe Marinakis, if he wants Gyökeres, can go and get him 1,000,000%? Do I believe Forest are going to spend big this summer if we get Champions League football? 1,000%. The evidence is all there for us to see. See, when we got promoted, Marinakis whips out the checkbook. When we needed reinforcements in that January 1st window, he went and bought another 6 or 7 players, whatever it was. In the following summer, he reinforced as well, broke the club record with the likes of Sangare, unless you consider Morgan Gibbs-White with his add-ons won that. And then, he spent again and again and again. Are you telling me that if we get Champions League football, the Greek father isn't going to whip out the checkbook? Of course he is, and he will whip it out in a big way. So I don't believe this puff piece is probably how I'd describe it, just column inches puffing out the rest of the paper. It's not true for me. But are we in the lead for Gyökeres? Probably not. But do any of you think we are? It's probably Vissa is the one I would say we are currently leading on from what I've heard. So that's the first story. Now, let's move on and talk about Cristiano Ronaldo, because there's been a lot of like panic going on about this injury with Cristiano Ronaldo, and he went off with a potential hip injury. I think it was when against New Zealand playing international. Now, from what I've seen and the only bits and bobs I've done, it doesn't seem like it's a serious injury in the first place. I think Tom's come out and said Chris Wood at this stage not thought to be a major issue. He'll be assessed when he comes back into Nottingham. I agree with Tom's stance on that. That's going to be the protocol on this. Forest will want their own medical guys to have a look at him. So I'm not worried about this injury. I know Crypto's been losing his mind about it, and I think rightly so, because of the bigger context of this conversation, which goes back to our January window, which I still remain steadfast on to say it was not a good window in terms of players coming in, because we didn't get reinforcements for the likes of Chris Wood. Yes, Taiwo has started to come into a little bit of form in the last couple of games, but it's only been cameos. I haven't seen Taiwo do a 0 to 90 for a long time and impress me. So if Chris Wood is out now, does this then seriously hamper our Champions League positions? My answer to that is still no. Because if I'm being honest about it, Chris Wood for me in the last 2 to 3 games hasn't been the Chris Wood of new. He's been almost the Chris Wood of old. And Forest have still been able to get, you know, the games and the wins over the line with Ipswich, Man City, etc. So I do trust that Nuno will find a way. I think Taiwo can come in and we can just about limp our way over the line to this Champions League. But it still does need to be said that that transfer window wasn't good enough, because we did need to buy reinforcements. Now, in the light of day, looking forward from that transfer window, Nuno felt he had enough. And if he gets us over the line, then he's been proven correct. And if that's the case, that means maybe some of the chunk of the PSR allocated money for this not financial year, but PSR year increases the amount we can spend into next year. So what we could do potentially is spend X amount of money before the 30th of June. That gives us, you know, more room to spend after the 30th of June, because that's when the cutoff date is. Yes, I know it's a rolling 3-year period, but there could be some, because what we could see now is that Forest will know where they stand as the transfer window closes, and they'll be able to spend potentially on bigger upgrades. So maybe that's what they're doing here, but it's a risky game, because if Chris Wood is injured, then we're going to have to trust in Taiwo. And my question to you guys is, do you trust in Taiwo? Can Taiwo get us over the line if Chris Wood is, and hopefully he isn't injured? Remember, he's found a little form away on international duty. I think he scored a hat-trick in the game before as well. So it is what it is. And by the way, the actual like official piece that came out to say it was an injury to Chris Wood did not prevent New Zealand from becoming, from becoming the second team to secure qualification into the 26 World Cup. Wood appeared to land awkwardly after taking a shot in the second half of his... I'm tired. Wood appeared to land awkwardly after taking a shot in the second half of his side's clash with Newcastle. Okay, this fasting is killing me. Anyway, that's the piece to say. That's why he came off. There's nothing there too serious as far as I'm concerned. Let the club bring him in, have a look through him. We'll obviously ask, but you know, it's a long flight from New Zealand, so we'll wait till he comes back and we'll see if we can find out any more details for you guys. All right, so that brings you up to date with your Forest news. I don't think I'm on any streams later, so this is it. Make sure you've watched the video, make sure you've liked, all that good stuff. We'll see you on tomorrow's video. Come on, you Reds.